Good evening. It's Thursday, December 26th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Traffic is moving again tonight, but it was a mess today in East County. The second storm system this week brought snow that shut down I-8 near Alpine. KPBS reporter Shalina Chatlani begins our coverage.
The winter storm that hit Christmas night and Thursday brought rainfall and several feet of snow to our local mountains. California Highway Patrol had to close off highways to plow away snow. A lot of drivers were on their way to Arizona and weren't too happy about the slowdown, but many tried to stay positive.
Where are you guys headed?
Lake Havasu, Arizona.
Were you expecting this at all?
No.
We're just visiting, so I don't know if they just have the road blocked or if they'll let us through to visit my parents.
So this isn't derailing any Christmas plans for you?
We're supposed to be on a plane to New York tomorrow, so we'll see.
Oh gosh.
We'll see.
So how are you feeling right now?
A little anxious, but we're good. We're safe.
If you look around me right now on the I-8 East, it's clear that cars are rolling ahead. But earlier this morning, this highway was completely shut down because officials were plowing snow on the opposite end. Now, officials have opened the highway back up to traffic, but they say be careful. They've issued a winter storm conditions warning.
Soon, San Diego residents and visitors were on their way, but after traffic officials opened up the roads, California Highway Patrol issued a warning that's in effect until this evening. Drivers in the mountains should expect a couple more inches of snow, reduced visibility, and slippery roads that could ice over. So if you're making the trip, officials say, prepare your cars. At the foot of Mount Laguna, many drivers pulled over to put chains on their tires. Others were taking a moment to enjoy the scenery.
There was a bit of traffic on the way up, but as you can see from all the cars along here, people were able to make it up here. There are snowmen, people are having snowball fights. Some people were just passing through, but other folks came up here just to enjoy the snow.
Like San Diego resident, 13-year-old Ryan Marshall, who says he was excited because he doesn't see snow that often.
Did you drive up here just to hang out in the snow?
Yeah, with my family and one of my friends.
Okay, is this a dream come true for you?
Yeah, this is pretty awesome.
Shalina Chatlani, KPBS News.
And some breaking news for travelers using the 15 to get to and from Las Vegas. Caltrans has closed both sides near the state line due to snow, ice, and accidents. No word how long the closure will last. And closer to us, the 15 near the Cajon Pass had to be shut down earlier this morning because of weather. It's now reopened, as is the I-5 along the Grapevine, where some 150 cars and trucks in the snow earlier. Reminder, if you have travel plans, include the mountains or passes, then check conditions and bring chains. Heavy rain this morning made a mess in parts of San Diego, and this is what it looked like along Mission Gorge Place in Grantville. A driver stood on the edge of his car door until a Good Samaritan in a truck rescued him. Firefighters helped others walk through knee-high water to safety. Wet weather will stick around for a few more hours. Marvin Gomez has our first check on the forecast.
Thanks for staying with us here on KPBS News. I'm AccuWeather's Marvin Gomez, and overall here in our water vapor image, we could see that upper level low pressure system starting to come inland across our state, and most of the wet weather already starting to fade off along the coast. You could see here in our satellite and radar image from earlier today how most of the wet weather started transitioning into parts of Arizona. Right now, we no longer have the flash flood watch in effect across San Diego County, but if you head over towards the east, there are locations that still have that alert in place. Meanwhile, for the winter storm warning across the higher elevations, some locations are still going to be dealing with that alert in effect until tomorrow morning. I'll have more details on your forecast in just a couple minutes.
And with every storm these days comes this warning. Stay out of the water along our beaches, especially those prone to sewage runoff. Signs are being posted at the usual trouble spots like Imperial Beach due to contamination from the Tijuana River runoff. The County Department of Health has issued a general rain advisory for coastal waters. They urge swimmers, surfers, and ocean users to beware of high bacterial levels, especially near storm drains, creeks, rivers, and lagoons. Advisories last 72 hours. A San Diego holiday tradition is wrapping up along Harbor Drive. The annual Holiday Bowl Parade draws tens of thousands, even in cold weather like this. KPBS reporter Max Rivlin-Nadler is live with a look at this year's event. Max?
Maya, the cooler weather didn't stop thousands of college football fans from coming out to this year's Holiday Bowl Parade. Tomorrow's Holiday Bowl features the USC Trojans and the Iowa Hawkeyes. The festivities began with a 5K, probably a good way to heat up, and then with marching bands from the two schools. There were also dozens of balloons whose handlers deftly maneuvered in the wind. In the grandstand, I spoke with Lena Alcido and Sean Mueller, a couple from Oakland who traveled down with their kids for the game. They represent a house divided. Alcido is a USC fan and Mueller is an Iowa fan. They knew there might be conflict when the bowl game was announced.
Uh-oh. This is the first time since my husband and I have met that Iowa and USC have played together in football. So he's a huge fan, I'm a huge fan, and but we know who's going to win.
I'm very excited, but there will be conflict after we kick their butt tomorrow.
The game will kick off tomorrow at 5 p.m. MTS is running extra trolley services to get fans to the game. At the waterfront, Max Rivlin-Nadler, KPBS News.
Thanks for that report, Max. And as the Christmas decorations come down, you might be tempted to just toss your Christmas tree in the trash. Well, KPBS reporter Joe Hong explains a greener solution that could benefit residents year-round.
The city of San Diego launched its 46th annual Christmas tree recycling program on Thursday in hopes of keeping trees out of landfills and giving them an afterlife in neighborhood gardens and parks. Barbara Lamb is the deputy director of the Environmental Services Department's Waste Reduction Division. She said the recycling program helps make San Diego a more sustainable city.
Christmas trees dropped off at the city's 17 drop-off sites are diverted from the landfill and turned into top-quality compost and mulch products here at the Miramar Greenery. And it also produces high-quality wood chips.
As an incentive, the city is giving residents who drop off their trees at the Miramar Greenery 2 free cubic yards of compost and mulch for their home gardens. Lamb said mulch is especially effective at preventing erosion. The program runs until January 23rd. Before dropping off trees, residents must remove all decorations and tree stands. You can go to kpbs.org for a list of all the drop-off locations. Joe Hong, KPBS News.
With busy travel days ahead, some of the nation's busiest airports are warning travelers about a measles exposure. San Diego is not one of those locations, but LA is, along with Denver, Chicago, Richmond, Virginia, and Austin. Health officials in Texas gave more details about the case there.
That individual became ill on December the 14th and developed a rash on December the 17th. On that same day, December 17th, he boarded a flight from Austin to Chicago, United Flight 790, with a connecting flight to Virginia.
The CDC is contacting people who flew on planes that may have been exposed. Measles can be highly contagious and potentially deadly for those who are not vaccinated. 1,200 cases were reported across the U.S. this year, the highest number in nearly 30 years. With Congress on break for the holidays, they have a lot of time to think about a pending impeachment trial. President Trump's status will hinge on members of his own party, and one isn't happy with the way things are going. Reed Binion reports.
It's been 1 week since the House voted to impeach President Trump on obstruction of Congress and abuse of power. And with the Senate impeachment trial looming, it's still up in the air when that will actually happen. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has yet to send the impeachment articles to the Senate in order to begin the proceedings. Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he would be in total coordination with the Senate and the White House counsel. But there is at least one GOP member who is questioning his approach.
In fairness, when I heard that, I was disturbed. And so I heard what Leader McConnell had said. I happen to think that that has further confused the process.
After delivering a Christmas message from his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, President Trump voiced support for Senator McConnell.
We're in a very good position. Ultimately, that decision is going to be made by Mitch McConnell, and he will make it. He has the right to do whatever he wants. He's the head of the Senate.
Senator Murkowski says she remains undecided about how she will vote when the trial takes place.
We need to prejudge and say there's nothing there, or on the other hand, he should be impeached yesterday. That's wrong.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
I'm Amna Nawaz. Tonight on the NewsHour, chaos in Iraq as the president and protesters reject a nominee for prime minister backed by Iran. It's coming up at 7 right after Evening Edition on KPBS.
As a teenager, getting a driver's license and keys to the car is a rite of passage. Fast forward several decades, and that teenage driver is now a senior driver. As our bodies age, how long is it safe to continue driving? I talked with two experts about how to prepare for driving retirement. People are living longer. Within 15 years, the Census Bureau projects older adults will outnumber children under 18 for the first time in U.S. history. The so-called gray tsunami has many implications that affect things like housing, healthcare, and welfare. But how does aging affect driving? Doug Shoup with AAA says despite the myth, seniors are among the safest drivers.
That's exactly what it is, a myth. In reality, senior drivers are some of the safest drivers out there. They're more likely to wear their seatbelt. They're less likely to text and drive. They're more likely to follow and obey the speed limit.
But when a senior driver is in an accident, they're more likely to suffer significant injuries. So when is it time to talk to an aging parent about giving up the keys to the car?
You want to watch your senior driver to see if they are bumping into things as they pull into the driveway, or backing out of things, when they're pulling out of the driveway. Are they getting honked at on the road? Do you see them drifting from one lane to the other? Do they seem to be taking too long to respond to traffic signals like the light turning green? Those are indications that perhaps you want to start having that delicate conversation.
Dr. Ken Druck is author of Raising an Aging Parent.
And how do we have those conversations rather than it becoming well, I'm not dead yet, leave me alone, it's none of your damn business, and I'm handling that, or if they're outrightly denying that there's an issue to even talk about. So how do we approach that? It can be confounding, but if it starts with respect and understanding and listening, and then it becomes a real conversation.
He says giving up driving can be a smooth transition by starting early, starting small, and talking often. Volunteer to drive parents to their destinations. Try ride-sharing services like Lyft and Uber together. Or maybe you can ask someone else to start the conversation.
Because sometimes we're not the best person to talk to our parents. Sometimes we have a sister, and she just has a better way, she has a better line of communication with our mom or dad. Or they have a doctor, and they listen that everything that doctor says is gold.
So what do you do if a parent emphatically refuses to consider driving less or giving it up altogether? Druck says it's critically important to not be afraid of presiding over their well-being.
You need to intervene. You need to step in with a tough love approach and say, Dad, I'm not going to let you do this. You're putting your life at risk and other people's lives at risk, and I've disabled the car. And I'm not going, and I've taken the keys.
AAA suggests you start talking about driving retirement at the same time as financial retirement.
Hey, what happens when you get to that point where maybe it's not going to be safe for you to get behind the wheel? What kind of options would you like to see in terms of transportation for yourself? Involve the senior driver. Make it about them so that they can help make the decisions for themselves and in their own interest.
For more information, including driving assessment tools, you can go to seniordriving.aaa.com. More now on the week of winter storms we're seeing in Southern California. Areas hit by recent wildfires are on alert. That includes Simi Valley, north of LA. You might remember the fire that burned near the Reagan Library in October. Firefighters spent recent days giving out sandbags for people who live in the area in case of flooding.
But when you have a burn scar, you have flooding in areas that don't normally flood because the hills are void of vegetation and they don't have the ability to keep the water back. And you get the ash and debris that fills into the drainages and the natural flow doesn't occur, and you can have rapid flooding very quickly.
The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning for the area, which is in effect through tonight. For the second straight night, San Diego is increasing shelter capacity due to the wet and cold weather. And in Las Vegas, the homeless are getting help during the holidays as well. But some are complaining about where it's coming from. Jeremy Chen has the story.
These tents bearing the logo of Deja Vu going viral on social media. The Gentlemen's Club getting into the holiday spirit, providing shelter for the homeless downtown. These pictures were sent to us from a concerned mother who says she had to explain to her children what the adult entertainment company was after they saw the tents driving by. Megan Schwartz with Deja Vu says it's an act of charity and a response to the city of Las Vegas's future anti-camping ordinance.
I think it's pretty unfortunate that the city, passed that ban against camping, which doesn't go into effect till February of 2020. And we're always trying to do our part to help however we can.
Schwartz says as a mother, she can understand the woman's concerns, but says the logo bears nothing provocative or inappropriate. She also says the adult entertainment industry is already well known in the city.
You're living in Las Vegas. I mean, there's billboards, there's clubs. This is an all-inclusive city where you're going to see all this stuff.
Schwartz says the company spent around $50,000 in tents for various cities that have large numbers of homeless people.
Remove the tent and you're going to see somebody sleeping in a pair of shorts barefoot on cement. And I don't necessarily want my children seeing that either because it's really sad.
Reaction on social media is mixed, many agreeing with the concerned mother, but many others appreciating Deja Vu for stepping in to help. One post on Facebook saying, "Thank you, Deja Vu, for your kindness not only this time of year, but all year round. Thank you for helping those in need in the city." Schwartz says the company does extensive charity work in the community and says it has been difficult at times due to the stigma of its business. She says the support on social media has made it all worth it.
It was so positive and so uplifting, and I'm like, this is amazing to read all this on Christmas Eve. This is great, and it really does warm my heart.
Jeremy Chen reporting. Deja Vu says it also has done charity work for this year for the American Cancer Society. And as for the weather here in San Diego, we'll get a break from the rain and snow starting tomorrow. It's going to be a dry weekend. Marvin Gomez has our forecast.
A passing shower is still possible across most of the metro area as we head into tonight. However, most of the storm already moved off towards the east. AccuWeather's Marvin Gomez. Let's take a look at the rest of San Diego County. You could see that pretty much everywhere we are going to see that passing, everyone can see the potential for that passing shower. Oceanside will be coming down to 38 degrees. Ramona, you're looking at a low near 35. Meanwhile, in Mount Laguna, that's where temperatures are below freezing, and we are going to be seeing some snow in the region. As a matter of fact, that winter storm warning still continues in effect across some of the higher elevations over towards the west of San Diego. As we take you into Friday, notice how we are just basically going to be sitting with a chilly air mass in place. Again, the storm will already be way off towards the east across parts of Arizona and New Mexico. Here's your futurecast. Notice how the sky will even be clearing up as we head into our Friday. Not a whole lot of action to anticipate. Good conditions are coming along for the weekend. Let's take a look at some of those temperatures for tomorrow. San Diego coming up to 61 degrees. Oceanside 61 as well. Over in Borrego Springs, the high will be near 64. Along the coast, expect temperatures to continue to increase gradually as we go through the weekend. 64 the high on Sunday. Seems like the next best shot for some rain across our region will be heading into Monday. 63 the high on Saturday, though, in the inland areas, partly sunny for Sunday. And again, bring the umbrella on Monday with you. Across the mountains, 40 degrees for Friday, 43 on Saturday, 42 into Sunday. Cloudy conditions on Monday with a potential afternoon shower. And in the deserts, well, temperatures are going to be in the low 60s heading into Saturday. Sunday, we're looking at a high near 58 with partly sunny skies and the potential again of some wet weather returning to the deserts as we take you into Monday. For KPBS News, I'm AccuWeather's Marvin Gomez. Back to you.
All eyes on the sky, especially across southern Asia. That's because large crowds are gazing to get a glimpse of a ring of fire solar eclipse. In Indonesia's Riau province, people watch the phenomenon with modified binoculars and glasses as others prayed during the so-called annular eclipse. The eclipse caused the sun to transform into a dark orb for more than 2 minutes, briefly plunging the sky into complete darkness. It could be seen along a path stretching from India and Pakistan to Thailand and Indonesia. Today is a big shopping day, building on a strong holiday season. Retail sales were up nearly 4% compared to last year, but the bigger story is online, where the jump was more than 18%. That's with fewer shopping days due to a later Thanksgiving this year. Daryl Forges has a closer look at the strong numbers.
Money, profits, and record sales. That's what many retailers saw after big holiday spending by consumers. MasterCard reports that American retail rose 3.4% between November and Christmas Eve compared to last year.
Retailers have started offering promotions earlier in the season, some as early as Halloween, really giving consumers a long, runway in order to buy gifts and stock up for everyone.
The most popular items, iRobot's Roomba, Instant Pot Duo, and LOL Surprise Dolls.
LOL Surprise is still the killer toy out there. It's what all the kids want. They continue to innovate as a company and keep that brand fresh.
The most popular shopping day was a Saturday before Christmas, also known as Super Saturday. Customer Growth Partners says consumers shelled out $34.4 billion on Super Saturday.
The death of retail shopping has been highly overrated. So F.A. Schwartz has come back and made a good impact. Toys R Us has made a ton of news with their 2 new locations.
Companies like Amazon say this was their biggest holiday season ever. While some retailers rejoiced over record-setting revenue, department stores struggled. Sales for stores like Sears, Macy's, and others saw a 1.8% sales decline. Daryl Forges, KPBS News.
And it's also a big week for movie theaters. Christmas Day releases include a remake of Little Women and the latest from Adam Sandler. KPBS cinema junkie Beth Accomando has reviews for both.
The press materials for Uncut Gems describe Adam Sandler's compulsive gambler Howard Ratner as charismatic. Perhaps, but it's a charisma that's burned itself out, and Howard is now coasting on fumes. Here he tries to charm his wife.
Give me another shot.
You know what, Howard?
Say yes. What?
I think you are the most annoying person I have ever met. I hate being with you. I hate looking at you. And if I had my way, I would never see you again.
She's absolutely right. Yet somehow this audaciously in-your-face, aggravating film proves riveting. Uncut Gems made me more tense than most horror films as I watched Howard careen towards self-destruction as he makes one astoundingly bad decision after another without even taking a moment's breath in between. Directed by Josh and Benny Safdie, the film excels at making you feel uncomfortable, and I hesitate to even call it entertainment, but they execute the film with such a meticulous and rapturous sense of escalating crisis that it's like a car crash you drive by and can't look away from.
You having a good time? Yes.
Uncut Gems is definitely not for everyone, but if you want a scathing antidote to holiday cheer, then this is it.
Is it fairies? Santa Claus. No, it's all not March. Mr. Lawrence sent it. Lawrence Boy's grandfather? Yes.
Greta Gerwig's Little Women is a well-made and brightly performed film, but I can't stand it. It's just not my cup of tea. I never liked this beloved classic, maybe because the character named after me spent the whole time sick and trying not to bother anyone. The characters in Louisa May Alcott's book drip with goodness and self-sacrifice, and I have to confess, it bores me. As one might expect from Gerwig, she revisits the 150-year-old novel with a feminist eye.
I just feel like women, they have minds and they have souls as well as just hearts, and they've got ambition and they've got talent as well as just beauty. And I'm so sick of people saying that love is just all a woman is fit for. I'm so sick of it. But I'm so lonely.
Yeah, and I kind of got sick of the film's relentlessly heartwarming tone. Call me Scrooge. I loved Gerwig's Lady Bird, where the characters were real and flawed, but Little Women has too much homespun sweetness for my taste. I felt much more at home with the nastiness of Uncut Gems that also opened this week. But for all of you who love the novel, I'm sure you'll embrace the film. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Looking for some holiday family fun with a Christmas twist? Well, if so, critics say check out A Magical Cirque Christmas for one night only this Saturday at the San Diego Civic. Experience the magic of Christmas with dazzling performers and breathtaking Cirque artists from all the corners of the world, accompanied by your favorite holiday music, all performed live. The show is brought to you by the producers of Broadway's smash hit The Illusionists. Again, it's this Saturday night at 7:30 at the downtown San Diego Civic Theater. And here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. California and climate change. Our beaches are at risk in the decades ahead. On Morning Edition, learn how NASA is part of a 2020 mission to measure sea level rise. And on KPBS Roundtable, climate change, politics, and affordability. We look back at the stories that dominated headlines in 2019. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. I'm Maya Trabulsi from all of us here at KPBS. Thanks for watching. Good night.